All right, Byenado is upon us. We need sleeper starts, and we need them in a hurry. These are wide receivers who are outside the top 36 and also running backs in that vicinity. Top 15 quarterbacks, top 15 tight ends not allowed for this segment. So we're digging deep, and especially with 6 teams on bye, we are going extremely deep down into the cut of things. And Joe Frick, let's start with you. Who's your sure thing sleeper of week 8?
Sure thing sleeper for me, undrafted free agent Tez Johnson, Oregon Duck for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the New Orleans Saints. If we look at what happened with the unfortunate small return for Mike Evans, immediately breaks the collarbone, essentially ends the 1,000-yard streak that he had for his entire career. Hate to see that happening, but what's interesting is people were looking at Tez Johnson going into this week because of all of the injury concerns. You had the hamstring for Egbuka. You had the issues with Mike Evans with the hamstring. Surprisingly, they both played. When they were both in the lineup, basically Tez Johnson became a rotating receiver in 3 receiver sets. Once that injury happened, he basically took on the full slot role for that team. So they will basically rotate Sterling Shepard and Cameron Johnson when they need to. But Egbuka is going to be the guy. He'll be in the X. Cameron Johnson and Sterling Shepard will rotate in the Y. And then you're going to see Tez Johnson take over the slot. He had 9 targets last week. I like the matchup against the New Orleans Saints. And just from a coverage perspective, so far this season, Tez Johnson has been most profitable against cover 3. He's averaging 6.62 points per route run for fantasy points. And the New Orleans Saints run that coverage 42% of the time. So I like Tez Johnson this week. Back-to-back wide receiver 17 performances in PPR. Let's see if he can keep it going.
Okay. Yeah, Tez Johnson. He is someone from a prospect standpoint that I think I was a little unfair to because the size was just absolutely absurdly small. He's not the fastest guy, but he's kind of like he's doing the same similar things that he did at Oregon where he's just shifty. He makes guys miss. He gets open. He finds separation. He finds creases in the defense. So I like Tez Johnson. He's a guy I'm actually going out tonight in my league of record and trying to get because I think I need a sleeper start. And I think it was going to be Tez Johnson for me this week. I lost Mike Evans in that league, so you got to do what you can do. And I think Tez Johnson's a good one. Eric, you also have a sleeper wide receiver for the week. Who is it?
Yeah, going down and dirty, the down and out Miami Dolphins offense offers me Malik Washington. Look, it has been a tough stretch here for the Miami Dolphins, but quietly since Tyreek Hill went down, all of a sudden Malik Washington is starting to get some of that opportunity that we were hoping would go his way. If you look back over his last 5 games, has surpassed 5 targets in 4 of them. He's got 2 back-to-back 5s and an 8 last week. So getting a bit of opportunity. I like the game script in this one. We all think that Atlanta is going to absolutely dump truck Miami. So there should be plenty of throwing as soon as the second quarter or the beginning of the second half. But also the way that they're using him is really interesting, right? Over that 4-game stretch, he has 5 red zone targets. So he brings a bit of interesting scoring upside. And lastly, we have been making hay all season long by targeting the player who is not in AJ Terrell's coverage for these Atlanta Falcons. This week, that is Malik Washington. You also get the added bonus that the non-zero chance that Jalen Waddle gets traded after this week, you now have the de facto wide receiver 1 in Miami already on your roster.
Yeah, and we also have Darren Waller, who probably not going to be up for this one with the pec injury. And, who knows if Waddle's going to be 100%. It looks like he might, he's probably trending towards playing. I haven't seen anything come out differently, but, Waddle one shot and he could be out of this game. So I like that play with Malik Washington as well. Hopefully it's better than, the week after the Tyreek Hill injury. A lot of people fired him up. He was quite disappointing, but hopefully this time it's a little better output for Malik Washington, a guy I have stashed in a couple dynasty leagues right now on the taxi squad. For my sleeper of the week, I'm going with Marvin Mims of the Denver Broncos against the Cowboys. Although he's still pigeonholed into that role, running about half the snaps for Denver, Marvin Mims has been producing. He took 7 targets for 6 receptions for 85 yards this past week. In addition to being 15th in the NFL in deep targets with 8, he's also 7th in design targets. So seeing at least one design target per game, seeing those deep shots as well. He is running just 22.1% of snaps out of the slot. So we saw last week what Mims can do down the sideline when Denver needs a play. He was the guy who came up big for them in that late game against the New York Giants. Denver gets Cowboys this weekend here. And while Dallas has tightened up a little bit in their secondary as of late, they're still allowing the most fantasy points per game on the season to opposing wide receivers. Also, from our friend of the show, Jordan Vanek on Twitter, he said the Cowboys had an uptick in man coverage rate last weekend. 2025 leaders for yards per reception route ran here versus man for Denver, Marvin Mims. That was this way in 2025 and in 2024 as well. So he's a man coverage beater. Broncos should be thrown to keep pace with Dak in this one. So give me Marvin Mims as a borderline wide receiver 3 start in Byenado in week number 8. Joe, any thoughts on Marvin Mims?
Yeah, I like it. Like you mentioned, Denver's going to have to throw the ball. It's funny. I was kind of getting worried about Bo Nix last week, and then he just managed to drop 33 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and it's like he's not going to be able to wait that long with how well Dallas can score. But like you said, there's a lot of good things there. Last 3 weeks, Dallas has given up 39.8 points per game to wide receivers. That's going against the Jets, the Panthers, and the beat-up Commanders. So it's not like they're playing world beaters out there, tough matchups. They're pretty much the fantasy dream. You can play anyone in the Dallas offense and probably get points, and you want to play anybody that's playing against them.